Just wait.
Yes, now it's yes. So again, recall whatever I have advertised in last two lecture, the game 15 puzzle theorem, 15 puzzle game. So today main objective is to understand the game and also understand the mathematics behind the game. But before that, I will do little bit some more information about the permutation group. So far I have already defined what is a permutation group, but now we want to do some more result in that thing. So I will start with some information in permutation group and then come to the game. Hope many of you have already seen this online version, because I don't think offline it is now available to buy. Because I was checking on Amazon, it's very highly priced. So let me share my screen. Yes. Can you see my slides?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I have already defined a permutation group as a symmetry group, and I have denoted it by a Sn if this symmetry group is taken on the set 1, 2, 3, and n. And that's why this term permutation is coming, because it is just permuting these numbers 1, 2 up to n. So one definition about the permutations. Let sigma and tau are the two permutations in Sn. Then we say that these two permutations are disjoint if each number moved by sigma is fixed by tau and vice versa. So two cannot move a same number. So one number is only moved by one permutation. So for example, if you apply this definition in the case of cycles, then we say that we check that we see that the two cycles are disjoint if and only if there is no common numbers in between them. So it means if I1, I2 and IR represents one cycle and Z1, Z2, Zs represents another cycle, then the intersection of these two subset should be empty. For example, here you see this is a cycle and again this is a cycle, and both are disjoint. Why? Because there is no common term in both cycles. And if you take any element which is moved by this cycle, is definitely fixed by this cycle. So similar, you can easily see that this cycle moves only 2, 3 and 5, and all three numbers are fixed by this cycle. So by definition, they are very simple example for these joint cycles. Now you check another example 2, 3, 5 and 6, 1, 4, 3. Then it is easy to check that it is not disjoint. Why? Because 3 is moved by this cycle, first cycle, and it is moving 3 to 5. And also second cycle is also moving 3 to 5. So it means by definition they are not disjoint. Similarly, you can see this permutation in this. So this is an array form I have already mentioned. So in this form also you can check that these two permutations are disjoint. Why? Because first you check what are the numbers are moved by this permutation first. So you can check that easily. 1 is fixed here. 2 is sending 4, 3 is going to 6, 4 is going to 3, and 6 is going to 2, and 7 is fixed, and 5 is fixed. So it means this permutation can only move 3 permutations, 3 numbers, 1, 5, and 7. So let's see what is happening to other numbers. 2 is fixed, 3 is fixed, 4 is fixed, 5 is fixed, and 6 is also fixed. So it is, of course, by definition, a disjoint permutation. And there are some nice property between the disjoint permutations. What is nice? Let sigma and tau are the disjoint permutations, then they always commute. It means sigma product with tau is same as tau product with sigma. And more journal, we have this result. Sigma tau power k is same as sigma power k and tau power k. So proof is very simple, and the second part is very obvious. Maybe you have already seen that in the abelian group, a dot b power n is always equals to a power n b power n. So it directly follows if we prove that this commutativity property holds. So it is easy to check that since sigma and tau are disjoint permutations, so each number moved by sigma is fixed by tau. So when I apply a number here, suppose that number is moved by tau, then of course it is fixed by sigma. So you apply this idea, and then you will see that the set of numbers moved by sigma is disjoint from the set of numbers moved by tau. And therefore, it doesn't matter which permutation we carry out first. And thus, we get this result, commutativity of sigma and tau. And from here, we can always deduce that this also holds. So to check that, better to see in one examples. So I'm not doing here, but you can easily check. A proposition, let sigma is a, if sigma is a R cycle, then order of sigma is always R. And more, we can say that if tau is a product of sigma 1, sigma 2, sigma k as a disjoint cycle, then I can always talk about the order of this element. And what is the order? Order is basically LCM of these numbers R1, R2, Rk, where these Ri's are the length of each sigma I. So for example, in this example, you check the order of this permutation 2, 3 and the order of the permutation, which is a product of two cycles 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6 is 6. Why? Because the order of 2, 3 is, it is a length 2, so order is 2, and it has a length 3, so order is 3, and the LCM of 3 and 2 is 6. Now another example, again you have a permutation which is a product of two cycles. One cycle has a 2 length and another one has a 3 length, but order is 4. Why? Because I said to apply the proposition you need disjoint cycles. So that is very important. Product of 1 minute. This product of disjoint cycle is very yes, this disjoint cycle is very important, and here you can see that these two elements are not disjoint. Why? Because 2 is common here and 2 is common here, so these two cycles are not disjoint. So what to do? How to get product then? Then what I will do, I will basically write them as a disjoint product. And what will I do? I will first write what is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1 is going to 2 and 2 is going to 6. And here 2 is going to 3 and 3 is going to 3. Again 3 is going to 2 and 2 is going to 6. How is possible? 1 is going to, oh sorry, here some mistake is there. 1 is going to 1 and again 1 is going to 1. 3 is going to 2 and 2 is going to 6. And in this 4 is going to 4, and with respect to this 4 is going to 2. And now again 5 is going to 5, and with respect to this cycle again 5 is going to 5. With respect to this 6 is going to 6, and with respect to this 6 is going to 4. So how to write a cycle? I start with 1 and 1 is going to 1, so now I am done. Now I will start with 2. So 2 is going to 3 And now check what 3 is doing. 3 is going to 6. And where 6 is going? 6 is going to 4. And what about 5? 5 is going to 5. So now this is a disjoint product, and here order of this is 1, this is 1, so this has order 4, and then you get a answer 4. So now actually I have also explained you how to write any permutation as a product of this. So this is basically related to cycle decomposition of any permutation. So any permutation sigma in Sn can be expressed as a product of disjoint cycle. And furthermore, any two representation of sigma as a product of disjoint cycle are same up to some arrangement. So this cycle decomposition, what it does, it breaks the permutation into product of disjoint cycles. And we call this decomposition of any permutation as a cycle decomposition. So a decomposition of a permutation sigma into disjoint cycles is called as the cycle decomposition of sigma. Disjoint cycle decomposition of the sigma. And the proof I have just explained like this. So what will I do? I will take any permutation, I will write them like this in array form, and then just write images and write them in cycle form. So for example, the cycle decomposition of this is this. So how to do this? I will write first 1. 1 is written here, 1 is going to 1. So I am done. Now I will look about the 2. So 2 is going to 4. So I have written 2 is going to 4. Now I will check where is 4 going. 4 is going to 3. So 4 is going to 3. Now I will check where is 3 going. 3 is going to 6. So I came to 6. Now I will check what 6 is doing. 6 is going to 2. So now I again come back to 2. So I will close this bracket. Now I will look about other element. So it is easy to check that 5 is also going to 5. 7 is going to 7. 8 is going to 10. And 10 is going to 8. Now, some people can also arrive at, like, they can change order, but in case of disjoint, order doesn't matter. Why? Because we have just proved that if you have a disjoint cycle permutations, then they always commute. So it doesn't matter how you write a product, and that's why up to arrangement you get always a unique decomposition as a disjoint cycles. Similar like how to compute in this case. Again, you write like this. If it is already disjoint, then you don't need to do anything. But if it is not, then apply the same method, whatever I said. And sometimes it is better you write them as array form and then directly compute. Otherwise, you just write like this. You check what is the image and then again compute like this. So far, any question?
No, sir.
Okay. So now another definition, very special type of cycle of length 2, we call them as a transpositions. So for example, this is a cycle, 1, 2 is a cycle, which is a permutation which sends 1 to 2 and 2 to 1. And other elements are fixed. So these type of permutations are called a transposition. Similarly, ij. It is sending symbol I to j and symbol j to I. And other symbols are fixed. So another theorem is saying that actually every cycle can be written as a product of transposition, and moreover any permutation sigma in Sn can be expressed as the product of transpositions. And proof is very simple. If we know first, then second can be easily done. So first is saying that you can write any cycle as a product of transposition. So for example, suppose cycle is I1, I2, IR, then I can write this as a I1, I2, I1, I3, I1, IR, product of this. Now check what is the image of I1. So I1 is going to I2. So I1 is going to I2. Now check where I2 is going. I2 is going to I1 here, and here I1 is going to I3, and other places it is fixed. So I2 is going to I3, and this is a one way of writing a cycle as a product of transposition. And what about in general? In general, we can take any transposition. We can use the cycle decomposition theorem and write them as a product of disjoint cycle. And for each cycle, I will write like this, and this will give me a representation as a product of transposition. But you can see that this representation is not a unique. Why? Because in this example, if I have a cycle, then I can represent it like this as a product of transposition. I can also write like this, and I can also write like this. So it means it is not unique, even order doesn't matter, rearrangement. The terms are also different. So for any question? So one interesting exercise you can do that, so that any permutation of order greater than equals to 3 cannot be written as a product of disjoint transpositions. Maybe some mistake is there, order 3. So now come to the another concept in permutation group, that is called as a parity of a permutation or sign of a permutation. So what is this? So corresponding to any permutation sigma in Sn, we can define its sign, and that sign is basically a formula, and it is taken a product over all ij's such that I is strictly less than j and ij varies between 0 to n. So here small typo is there, should be 0. So if you compute sigma I minus sigma j divided by I minus j, then this number is called as a sign. And there is a theorem which says that this number is always either 1 and minus 1. So we can calculate this, and it will be either 1 and minus 1. And I can think the set 1 and minus 1 as a group. And it is basically a Abelian group of order 2 with identity 1, and whose multiplication table I can write like this. 1, 1 is 1, minus 1, 1 is minus 1, minus 1, minus 1 is 1. So with respect to this group operation, it is easy to see that the theorem says that the map chi defined from Sn to T such that sigma is going to sign of sigma is actually surjective group homomorphism, and which takes any transposition to minus. Proof is not very difficult, but better to write this, calculate this in one permutation, and you will understand the proof. But yes, proof is simple in that sense. Since now let's prove it. Since sigma is a permutation, then for all pair k comma l, there is a unique pair p and q such that sigma p is k and sigma q is equal to l. KL, PK, PQ, KL, they can be same, different, we don't know. But yes, this thing happens. And if P is strictly less than Q, then K minus L appears once and only once in the numerator of the expression. And if Q is strictly less than P, then L minus K appears once and only once in the numerator of the expression. And also K minus L or L minus K appears once and only once in the denominator according to the choice of K is strictly less than L or L is strictly less than K. And since it comes once in a denominator, it comes in once in numerator, so they cancel each other. Only remains is that plus 1 or minus 1. And so whatever these values comes, they comes as a product of either 1 or minus 1. And this always remains in the group T, which is just a group of two element 1 and minus 1. And hence sign is always either number 1 or minus 1. So we call them as a parity of the permutation sigma. and some observation in example. If sigma is a cycle of length k, then the parity of sigma is 1 if k is odd, and the parity is -1 if k is even. So how to prove that? Idea is very simple. I can write this cycle as a product of transpositions, whatever we have written here, transposition. And you can see easily that if it has a length r, then at least one way I can write with a product of r minus 1 transposition. And we have also observed that for any transposition, the parity is -1. The parity of any transposition is -1. And since it is a group homomorphism, so parity of product is same as parity of individual and taking a product. So now you have a r minus k minus 1 transposition. So basically you are taking a product of k minus 1 transposition. So now it depends on k is odd or even. So this is 1 if k is odd. If k is odd, then you will get a k minus 1 transposition, and which is a basically even number. And in that case, even number, the product of -1 even times is always 1. So you get a parity 1, and similarly you get a parity -1 if k is even. So for example, if you want to calculate what is the parity of this, so better to calculate what is the parity of this and what is the parity of this. So parity of 135 is, because it is a cycle of length 3, so it has a parity 1. And it is a cycle of 2, so it has a parity -1, and hence you get the final parity of this permutation as a -2. So based on this parity, we can define even permutation and odd permutations. And there is another way of saying that a permutation is called an even permutation if it can be expressed as a product of even number of permutations. Or you can say the parity of sigma is 1, then we call them as an even permutation. Similarly, if parity of any permutation is -1, or it can be written as a product of product of odd number of transpositions, then we say that it is an odd permutation. So now we have a notion of odd permutation and even permutation inside Sn, and the set An, which is a set of all even permutations, is a very special subset of Sn, and actually we can prove that it is basically a normal subgroup of Sn with order factorial n by 2, and we call them as a alternating. And also we can easily observe that the product of two odd permutation is always an even permutation, and the product of odd and even permutation is always an odd permutation. So now with this knowledge, I want to transfer myself, I want to go in puzzle game, and now I will say some word about the history of the puzzle 15 puzzle game. So the 15, but before that, if you have any question, then you can ask, because we are just moving to another topic. So any questions so far?
No, sir.
But I need only one knowledge, that you are familiar with what is the even permutation and what is the odd permutation. And the product of even number is even, so similarly product of even permutation is even, and the product of odd, sum of even is even, and sum of odd and even is odd. So keep this in mind, and I need this in this puzzle game. So now let us go with this famous puzzle game. So first I will say a few words about the history of the inventor of the 15 puzzle, because there are many stories about that, who invented first. So whatever I searched and found on some maths Wikipedia, and I'm believing that they have written correctly, so I'm just following their history. So the 15 puzzle is a sliding square puzzle commonly attributed to the Sam Lloyd, However, research by Slocum and Sonneville in 2006 has revealed that Sam Lloyd did not invent the 15 puzzle and had nothing to do with the promoting or popularizing it. The puzzle case that was created by the 15 puzzle began in January 1880 in the United States and in April Europe and ended in July 1880 in UK. I think it's missing something. So Lloyd first claimed in 1891 that he invented the puzzle, and he continued until his death, 20 years campaign to falsely that take credit for the puzzle. The actual inventor was Noyes Chapman, the postmaster of Canastota, New York, and he applied for the patent in March 1880. So there is something not very clear that who invented, but we don't care. For us, it is a game, and that is very interesting for us. So forget the history right now and come back to the game. So game is like that. You have a square, you have a 4x4 matrix, and there are numbers 1 to 15, and one place is empty. So it means you can move, like a 12 you can slide here, 15 you can slide here, and while moving, whenever some number is coming to blank space, then they are also creating the empty space at that place. So you can slide any numbers because of one empty place. So this is the actual arrangement which we want from any game. So after moving the pieces around until they are jumbled pretty thoroughly, the object of the puzzle is to bring it back to the original arrangement. So somehow, suppose I start with this. So game is that you movement, slide it, whatever direction, whatever you do, and you make in this position. So this is called as a final position of the game, and this will treat as a initial position of the game. So far, any question about the game?
No, sir. No, sir. Okay.
Yes. So far game is clear. Let us. So the most challenging initial position was like that. And I believe that maybe this arrangement was discovered by a lawyer, but I don't care. So this arrangement is actually called as a 14-15, I think 15-14 puzzle. So I have written wrong, 14-15. 15-14 puzzle. The arrangement in the picture is known as the 15-14 puzzle problem. Starting in the 1890s, Sam Lloyd offered $100,000 for solving this puzzle, and of course that time whatever $100,000 value is now approximately $25,000 today. And he said if anyone can solve, then he can take that prize. But unfortunately, no one could solve that problem, because now we will prove that actually this problem cannot be solved. And from this problem, some mathematics involved, and many mathematicians took interest on this problem and tried to find out what is the mathematics going behind this game. And you can see the interest like that. In 1879, in the paper published in the American Journal of Mathematics, which is a very good paper in mathematics, reputed paper, and he wrote in that paper, the 15 puzzle for the last few weeks has been prominently before the American public and may safely be said to have engaged the attention of 9 out of 10 persons of both sexes and all ages and conditions of the community. And the after 14-15 puzzle, these were the pictures which were popular. People were very crazy to solve that, but now we know that how much Whatever effort you put, you cannot solve it. So we can understand the picture. So now from game 2, I am moving in the mathematics part of the game. So first I will just tell that there were 2 papers in American Journal of Mathematics in 1879. One is by Johnson and second is by Story. And the title for both paper was the Notes on 15 Puzzle. And you interested people can go and search this. So now, since I want to associate this puzzle in mathematics, so now corresponding to any initial arrangement, I will associate a permutation. So I suppose this is my permutation. Sorry, this is my 15 puzzle in one arrangement. And now corresponding to this game, I will associate a permutation. And how? I will explain it here. So far, any question? No. Okay. So now how I am going to associate a permutation. So suppose corresponding to this, my goal is to associate a permutation. So now I will write 1 and I am interested what is the image of 1. So this, I will order like this. 1, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So image of 1 is 15. Image of 2 is 2. Image of 3 is 1. Image of 4 is 12. And similarly 5 is going to 8. 6 is going to 5. 7 is going to 6. So better here write 7, 8, 9. So I need whole page. So write it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. So this is my first numbers, and I am interested what is the image of these numbers. So in this, it is a 15, 2, 1, 12, 8, 5, 6, 11, 4, 9, 10, 7, 3, 14, and 13, and last one is 16. So with respect to this representation, I have given you a permutation. And I can write this permutation in a nice way as a product of cycles. So that is written as 1 is going to 15, 15 is going to 13, 13 is going to 3, 3 is going to 1. So this is closed. Now I will start with 2. So 2 is going to 2. So I don't care. Now 3 is already done. So I will go to 4. 4 is going to 12. 12 is going to 7. 7 is going to 6. 6 is going to 5. 5 is going to 8. 8 is going to 11. 11 is going to 10. 10 is going to 9. 9 is going to 4. So this is again close. So now 4 is done, 5 is done, 6 is done, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 is done, 12 is done. So I will start 13 is done, 15 is done. So what about so 14? 14 is going to 14 itself. So now how many? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15. So one number is missing. Which one is missing? 16. 16 is going to 16. So now corresponding to any game, any arrangement, I have associated a permutation. So this I can do, and then I can transfer. So now I will define a game. So puzzle game, if the permutation associated to a given puzzle is even, then we call even permutation puzzle, or similarly odd permutation puzzle. By solving, I mean that we can arrange them in the order of 1 to 15. And Johnson's article is an explanation of why the odd permutation puzzles are not impossible to solve. So in Johnson's paper, he took this problem, and while in Story's article, he proved that the all even permutations puzzles can be solved. So both paper tells you when you can solve and when you cannot solve. So I will consider on this particular configuration, and then I will prove that this is not possible, and also it will give you hint for in general. So now I will define what is my move. What is by move in the puzzle? So suppose I have started with a puzzle. So suppose I have a puzzle, any puzzle, and it has position like this. 1 is here, 3 is here, 5 is here. Better to put numbers. So now 2 I can put here, 3, 4 I can put here, 5, 7, 6, 8, 10, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. This is any configuration, and what move I can make? I can move 10 here, or I can move 13 here. This is a two possibility I can do at a time. So after moving this, I can come here. So rest is same, only new thing will get, 10 will come here, and you will create a space here, and others are same, occupied same. So you get a new configuration. I'm saying whenever you move, you make a move, then if this permutation is a sigma, and suppose new permutation is a tau, then sigma tau is basically sigma into some transposition, some ig. So whenever I make a move, basically I take a product of a transposition. So now my moves is very clear to you, and I can write this problem is like this. So this is my puzzle. Now I want to see as a mathematics. So this is my initial arrangement. So I can talk about the initial permutation. This is my final arrangement. I can talk about the final permutation. And whatever moves I allow, here I use transpositions. And now theorem, which is very simple, and I have already stated too. Theorem says that in a in a 15 puzzle, applying a move, suppose that move is M, to a configuration C, changes the puzzle configuration into the product of MC. So I'm saying whenever you have some position, I am calling this position as a C. This is a C position, and now I'm coming to here. Hello? Any question? No. So I'm calling this, suppose this is a configuration C, I'm fixing this C. This configuration is C. And now I'm making a move, and a new configuration I'm using C. So now come back to the theorem again. Yes. So here is a small change. You write So now theorem is saying that it is impossible to solve the 14-15 puzzle problem. And why? Because each basic moves, I think someone Deepa Sankari. Please mute.
I think host can mute him.
Yes. Deepa. Hello, Deepa. Yes, it is muted. Okay. Now again come back. Some disturbance. So yes. So now I am saying that it is impossible to solve 14-15 puzzle problem. So what is 14-15 puzzle problem? Again come back. So I said I will start with this configuration. This is my configuration. This is a 14-15 problem I am saying. So this is a configuration. Everything is same. Only interchange is between 14 and 15. So now question is that can we make many moves or as much as we want and replace 14 here with 15, and I get a final move as a 1 to 15 increasing order. So theorem is saying that no, this is a very small move, but still we cannot do this, and this cannot be solved. So region is, now I will explain you. So come to the here, yes, first in this problem, yes. So what will you do? Suppose you can solve, assume that you can solve this problem. Means 14 will come here and 15 will come here. So what will happen in between? You will take initial position and you will make a move. And each move is associated to a product of a transposition. So what will you do? Either you move 14 here or 12 here, and then maybe 8 here, 4 here, something you will do. So you will do many moves, and all moves are related to the transpositions. So I'm saying after making all moves, if your empty space was here, and again you are coming back to the same empty space, then how many vertical move you have made up and down? So if your empty space is going up and you want to come back again, then whatever up move you have made, you have to make a down move. Suppose you have taken 2 up move and empty space is here, and you want to back again, then you have to make a 2 down moves and comes here. So I'm saying that whatever number of up moves you make, it is the same as the number of down moves. Now question, suppose you make like this, horizontal. So right move and left move. So whatever right moves you made, you have to make a left move to come back here, because you want the empty space to be here. So thus I am saying that whatever moves you do, that will be the even number of moves. And since it is an even number of moves, it means you will apply the product of even number of transpositions in initial position to get the final position. So now come back to the theorem, proof of the theorem. Each basic move of the 15 puzzle involve an exchange of the position between the piece 16 and an actual piece. If pieces in the position I and j are swapped, another pieces stay put, that move is described by the permutation ij, and we can always write the final position as a product of 14, 15 into these transpositions, where τ1, τ2, τ1 are the transposition corresponding to each move. And why this 14, 15? Because if you write permutation of this initial move, what is the permutation associated to this? What is the permutation associated to this? You will see carefully that, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, to 13 are same. There is no change in the image. Only image of 14 is changing with 15 and image of 15 is changing with 14. So as a cycle decomposition, you will only get a 14, 15. Because other elements are fixed. 1 is going to 1, 2 is going to 2, 3 is going to 3, 4 is going to 4. So this is a initial. So now this is a thing. Here you had a 14-15 puzzle. Initial permutation was just a 14-15. Now you have made many transpositions and then you wrote as a tau 1, tau 2, tau n, and the final position was identity. So you get this equation. Star. But now look this. Suppose n is even. Not suppose, we have actually proved that n is always a even because the number of move will be even. So since n is a even, then what is the product of this? It will be even permutation. And what is the parity of this permutation? It will be 1. 1. And what will be the parity of whole permutation? It will be -1. Why? Because this is the even, this is odd. So finally you will get a odd permutation. So you will get a parity -1. But what about here? This is identity and hence it is an even permutation. And the parity is 1. So it gives you a contradiction, and this means whatever you thought this problem can be solved, it cannot be solved. So far any question in this proof?
No. Okay.
So now in this puzzle I have made this empty space as a 68 last. Okay? Here. Now you can ask the same puzzle by making an empty place here, and you can ask that can it be solved or not. But yes, there is no difference. You can, and then question is that now find the number of unsolved 15 puzzle game. So now by creating empty space and different ordering, I can make many 15 puzzle game. And now question is that find the number of all unsolved 15 puzzle games. And what can you say about the number of all possible solved puzzle games? So any guess? So guess is very clear because this puzzle, I proved that it cannot be solved because of only using parity, odd and even. Here something was even output and here left hand side can be odd. But if it is even, then it can always be solved. So no question is that when it is even and odd. So whenever it is even, then you can solve it, and the number of all even this configuration is basically factorial n by 2. So here, since it is a 4x4 puzzle game and you are talking about S16, so it will be factorial 16 by 2. So, and this is a one way of looking another 15 puzzle game. You just create empty space here. Similarly, you can create here. Similarly, you can create, and by creating different places, you can talk about the. But I can always prove that you can convert this problem into your original one by making empty here, and then proof follows similarly. And how you can do, because in doing this, you have to just move 13 here, 14 here, 15 here, and then you can create an empty space here. And in this moving, you only allow 1, 2, 3 transpositions. So that's it. So any question?
No, it's very interesting, sir.
Yes. Yes, thank you. So we can explain the Rubik cube problem also like using a permutation and this thing. But yes, because of time limitation, we are just including one application here. So,
I have a question.
Yes.
For even permutation, is there a method to solve it?
Yes, there are some way, but there is no, I don't know if there is a fix, but of course, if problem is solvable, then very good question you ask actually. Now I'm going to ask another question, which is a very interesting question nowadays. So now we know which problem we can solve and which we cannot solve. And now next question is coming that what is the algorithm to solve it? And
Yes.
suppose there is an algorithm, then next question will be, because it looked like some computer type of questions. Okay? So now question is that how many steps you need to solve a problem. Suppose problem can be solved, and whatever problem you get in market, of course it can be solved. Okay? In twice, suppose. So question is that how many minimum steps you take to solve this problem. So that is an interesting question. And people are still working on that. And it is actually also, you can search, there are a lot of papers on this.
Okay. Thank you.
So any other question? So if there is no question, so now my, I think first week goal is done. And now I can share my second week plan such that you can be prepared and you can also discuss many other questions. So in next week, what I'm going to plan, I will just define something called a class equation, and without, I will try not to use too much complicated mathematics. I will just try to find out how to class equation, how we define this and how it came. And after that, I will jump to the some classical groups. I will talk about the isometry, which was my second topic. Group part I have already covered. So I will discuss about the isometry of R2, R3, and in general any plane. And then I will also try to compute the what is the symmetry group of polyhedrons, especially regular polyhedrons. And then I will try to see that the finite subgroup of SON are related to the symmetry group of these objects, and these objects are very interesting, and they are also called as a Platonic solids. And I think if you go in philosophy, then they are also treated as the 5 element of this world. So earth, fire, and whatever you know, 5 element. So everything I will explain. So this is just outline what I'm planning to do in next week.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Let us clap for Dr. Sanjay Singh.
Thank you,
Very
sir.
interesting and very appealing explanation presentation. Thank you so much, sir, and thank you so much all the audience. We will meet in the next week at the same time 5 p.m. for the next lecture of Dr. Sanjay Singh. Thank you so much, sir. We can leave now.